Welcome to the Down in Front podcast, episode 2. It's Jose, aka KJ.
And it's your man, Dre, the number one Chief Rocker, aka Andre. Should my aka be Dre, the number one Chief Rocker, or Andre? Because a lot of people know me as Dre.
Oh my gosh. I should have figured this out before the episode. Anyways, unfortunately, our third host, Paul's not here today. He's out celebrating his birthday. So happy birthday out to him. Shout it out.
43rd birthday, man.
Even though he picked this time to do the podcast because of his birthday, then he backed out. Yeah. But we're not going to talk about that.
No, we won't do that to him. We'll let him live.
But yeah.
We got a different location. We're actually at a bar named Sue, 8136 South State Street. You guys hear us talk about it all the time on the Flight 89 podcast. But we're actually here live right now recording the podcast. So, man, thank you to a bar named Sue for having us. Depending on how things go with this, we might be doing some more live podcasts from here. So, yeah,
that's what the background music is. If you hear that, it's in the background, slight music.
Yeah.
But yeah, so today we are here to review Venom, which we just saw. We probably left the movie theaters maybe about 30 minutes ago, 40 minutes ago.
Yep, we went to Century over there in Sugar House. So thank you for having us. Beautiful theater. I've never been there before. It's really nice, clean, and I like it. Yeah.
Sugar House is a nice little pocket.
Yeah,
it's not like a little big city or nothing. It's just a nice little pocket there.
Yep.
But we're gonna go into the trailer right now. Or
okay.
No,
let's do. How do we do this? Let's do pre-thoughts. Going into Venom, what were you expecting? What was the expectation for Venom?
Going in, the trailer looked dope, but I was a little worried, just because Sony still owns all the Spider-Man rights, and Venom is, of course, part of Spider-Man. And Sony has done terrible work on the Spider-Man movies. That's kind of why they partnered up with Disney to kind of bring back Spider-Man, and hopes Disney can do it the right way since they did so well with other Marvel characters. So I was just hoping that since Sony wasn't doing this with Disney and they were doing it on their own, they weren't going to just mess it up like they did with Spider-Man. So I kind of had like low expectations, even though the trailer did look good.
Yeah. For me, I was worried as well, just because I didn't know if Venom can hold his own movie. Like Venom's usually like an addition, right? Like he's usually the addition to Spider-Man, but I was expecting it to be more slower, I guess. That's my expectation, was being slower. Obviously being one of Marvel's first like dark movies. Like looking at the video or the trailer, I'm like, okay, this is kind of dark. This is kind of like DC-esque, and so that kind of like threw me for a loop. But that's our pre-thoughts. Let's go ahead. Let's go to the trailer, and then we'll come back and give you guys our full review.
Roll the trailer.
If you're gonna stay, you will only hurt bad people.
The way I see it, we can do whatever we want. Do we have a deal?
Are you willing to sacrifice the one thing you hold most dear? You should be extremely afraid.
What the hell are you? We are Venom.
All right, and that was the trailer for Venom. So, as you can see, we all thought the trailer looked dope. What was your first thoughts watching the movie? Like, what's your initial thoughts walking out the theater?
Man, amazing. Like the whole, I think it was an hour and 55 minutes, almost a 2-hour movie. It didn't feel like a 2-hour movie. I didn't feel it was long. I actually felt like it could have maybe been longer. I loved it. I loved everything about it.
I'm kind of the complete opposite. I thought overall as a whole, I thought the movie was dope. So I can agree with you with that. The movie was dope, but I kind of feel like the beginning was a little slow. I feel like it was a little drugged out at the beginning, and I was getting a little sleepy in the theaters. Like, all right, let's get to what's gonna happen. Like, that's how I felt. And then once it started going, I was like, all right, I'm into the movie now. But I did feel like the beginning was a little drug out, and it was like they were trying to tell a story that wasn't really there to me.
No, because they started with the spaceship, right? So they were telling the story about this virus or alien. It's not even a virus. It's an alien, right? They're talking about how
It's a parasite.
Yeah. Oh, he don't like that. Venom don't like being called a parasite. I think it was written really good. And I would say that in comparison to other Marvel movies, they made Venom dope. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. I like the story. I like the whole alien part. I like the comic relief throughout the whole thing was dead on.
The comic relief was good, even though I'm a little tired of the comic relief in movies.
Why?
Like I said, it's like I feel like Hollywood feels like every movie has to have comic relief. Like no matter how serious, and I said this about Predator too, like every movie nowadays has some kind of comic relief, and I'm like, why? Like even if it's a serious storyline, they have to throw in this adult comic relief, and I'm just like over it. Like, okay, we get it.
But that's real life though. Like, really think about if Venom took over you. Like, he's gonna be funny. Like, he's gonna be.
Well, that's why I said I do agree that it was good in this movie. I'm just tired of it in general, not in this specific movie. Every single movie has it now. I'm like over the trend of comic relief in movies.
Gotcha. I liked how Venom would transfer to different people. The old lady that was all of a sudden, like, Venom is venomous. Like, he's an alien.
What
It was
old
weird
lady?
because the old lady, remember in Malaysia when they seen Tupac?
Oh, but that wasn't Venom. That was the other one.
Oh, that was Riot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Riot. Which I thought was gonna be Carnage, but ended up being Riot.
It kind of looked like Carnage for a little bit. It was a little bit red. It was like it had like red speckles, like it was gonna come out, but it didn't.
Yeah, like Riot was like silver and red, kind of.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what Carnage is gonna look like because I think they did a good job with Venom. The cinematography in that fight scene too was crazy. The last fight scene.
I don't know. Maybe we didn't even go over who directed it in the cast, but whoever did the visual effects on that shit, props to y'all because y'all killed it.
Yeah, the graphics and cinematography and the shot scenes, it was dope.
Really dope. Well, how'd you feel about the acting? Like, how did you feel about the cast? I guess.
The dude, we didn't even do our research. The dude who plays the guy who's Venom, who he gets into. At first, I wasn't really feeling him in the beginning of the movie. I was like, it was like a roller coaster with him to me. Like I at first I didn't like him, and then I started to like him, and then I didn't start to like him. It was like, okay, to me he just had pockets of where he did a good job, and then to me I think there were some areas where he didn't.
So he was a journalist and ended up getting fired because he was doing an interview on the guy who went to this other planet to get Venom, right? They were exploring other life forms, and they found it on this planet where Venom lives, this alien, and brought it back to Earth. And so the dude that plays Venom actually did an interview with the scientist, the villain.
Yeah, whatever. He's like a scientist / owner of this company.
Yeah, and so he did an interview, got fired, ended up losing everything, and the one thing that he didn't lose, he gained was Venom.
Yeah, and
so that I like him for that fact. I like him for the fact that he is definitely the dude that's losing throughout this whole movie.
Even Venom said that.
Yeah, he's like, you're a loser.
Yeah, and he was all like, I'm just like you on my planet. I'm somewhat of a loser also.
And that's what I like. It's like, okay, you a loser, I'm a loser. Let's combine this shit.
But isn't that the same thing you kind of complained about Predator, saying you kind of tired of the misfits?
I think it's different though. I think it's different because we didn't know that Venom was a misfit.
Yeah, true. You didn't really. It was like towards the end of the movie that he kind of mentioned it.
And on top of that, the reporter really wasn't a misfit either. He was the hot shot news reporter in the city, and he just lost his job because he was asking the hard hitting questions.
I like how they kind of tied in.
I love your hat. Your hat's awesome.
I like how they kind of did small tie-ins with Spider-Man, like when she was his girl at the beginning was telling him how he got left New York. That he worked for the same news reporter that Spider-Man or that Peter Parker works for. That's where he worked for and got let go or whatever.
I didn't tie that together.
So yeah.
Oh shit.
So they did little tie-ins like that to let you know that it's in the same universe. Well, of course it has to be, but they made it sure that they did small mentions of Spider-Man, I guess you could say.
I kept expecting a Spider-Man to show up. Obviously this is the setup for Spider-Man and Venom to tag team Carnage, is what I'm assuming.
I'm kind of interested on how that's going to happen since, obviously Spider-Man takes place in New York, and this is all the way in San Francisco.
Yeah. Maybe I don't know if there's in a different Spider-Man. Well, it wouldn't be a different universe, but a different storyline if Spider-Man isn't in New York.
Yeah.
Because I'm not 100% sure if all the Spider-Mans are from New York.
What do you mean?
So, just like they might, this storyline might take place in California. I don't know, or maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, they've kind of introduced other cities and Avengers and stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I'm kind of curious on how they're gonna bring the two different cities together, I guess.
It was pretty dark, man, when he first got into the lab and that chick ran after him. Yo, man, I almost shit myself. I ain't gonna lie. It was so scary.
Yeah, it was well written, I guess you could say.
So, what would you are you excited for the next one or what?
Well, I am and I'm not.
So let's talk about it.
The reason I'm not is because there's in most, well, probably all Marvel movies there's an end credit, and in that end credit it kind of did a small interview, or not interview, but introduction of Carnage, and they have Woody Harrelson playing Carnage.
Fucking Woody Harrelson.
And that's what I'm concerned about in the sequel. I mean, don't get me wrong, I think he's a good actor. I just don't see him playing Carnage.
No.
So
he looked fat too.
Yeah, I was a little thrown off by that. But that's my only concern, is to see how he's going to play Carnage.
It kind of had a feeling of Harley Quinn. Remember in Justice League how Harley Quinn came up?
Yeah.
And when she was in the prison or whatever?
Okay, yeah.
It had that type of feeling.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Death Note?
No.
On Netflix? No. It's an anime?
No.
Check out Death Note because it had that same type of feeling for Venom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have to check it out.
That's pretty dope.
But overall, yes, I am excited for the second one. I'm definitely more excited for this than the next Predator.
Fuck. Yeah, if you haven't seen our last review, check it out. It was on the Predator, and it was not a good movie.
Yeah.
So that $10 that you saved for Predator, definitely go use it on Venom because it was good.
Is there anything in the Venom movie that you did not like?
So I kind of went back and forth on this in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
The villain I felt was one. He's like a nerdy, like self-absorbed scientist, explorer type dude, and I didn't like him. I didn't like him at first, and then once he turned into once he was getting into being Riot.
Yeah.
Then I started to be like, okay, this makes sense. Like he's a dude that's obviously a wimpy dude that's doing bad things, and he gets a little bit of power, and he overuses it.
Yeah.
And he'll use everybody to get what he wants.
Okay.
So at first I didn't like him, but he kind of grew on me towards the end of the film, and I liked it towards the end.
I can agree with you on that. I feel like. I feel like they could have got a better person to play him as well.
Right?
Yeah, the guy who was like the scientist or whoever he was.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he just wasn't like he had that evilness in him, the way he was doing whatever he was doing and stuff. But I just don't feel like the character, looking at him as this actor, had the evilness in him.
Yeah.
That's why I feel like they could have picked somebody more. I don't know. I just didn't feel like he fit the character as an actor.
I kind of wanted to see more of Venom and Riot going at it.
Yeah.
I feel like that scene was very short.
It was short.
But I think it would have been a lot better if we would have got more of them two going at it.
Yeah. I can agree. But then I think what the issue was that how Venom explained that, this dude's probably going to kick our ass. If they would have drug it out longer, it would have been like, okay, if Venom says this dude is going to kick your ass, then there's no way this fight could have got drunk out that long.
Plus, I would have liked to see, because when the other alien took over the rabbit, I would have liked to see what would have happened if it would have took to the rabbit and
went crazy with the rabbit.
Yeah,
There would have been a crazy rabbit around.
yeah.
around.
Or the little girl. Like we never seen the little girl when homegirl not Carnage Venom's girlfriend when they kissed.
Yeah.
And then transferred. I wish I would want to see her fight more as Venom.
Okay.
I think that would have been cool.
Yeah, that would have been dope.
I think overall though, dope flick, man.
Yeah, I would go see it again. I'm probably gonna rate this about. I'm probably gonna give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would go that high.
Yeah. Get an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. A grade out of 10.
Yeah.
I'm Marvel. I don't know what you guys got, man, but you guys got the juice.
And I was definitely impressed with Sony not ruining it like they did Spider-Man. I just hope that they don't ruin it in a sequel or a trilogy or whatever they plan on doing with this.
I wonder if we ever see like Venom versus like Hulk. That would be dope.
Yeah.
Like, will we see Venom cross over into maybe one of the Avenger movies? Will we see Venom? I know we'll obviously see a Venom and Spider-Man together, but will we see maybe Iron Man or somebody else with Venom?
I think what the problem is going to end up being, and I think is what is actually going to end up destroying the greatness that Marvel as a whole has done, is they're taking too long to introduce like these new characters. Like, look how many Avengers and Iron Mans and everything that's been out before they finally introduced Venom.
Yeah.
And eventually these actors who've been playing all these characters that we like in all the other Marvel movies, the Avengers, they're not going to want to come back no more. And so they're going to have to do like a Venom with a new Hulk and a new Iron Man and like new actors. And it's just, to me, that's what's going to end up destroying the whole world. Like, I feel like, I know it takes time to make movies, but I feel like just the gap in between introducing new people is what's going to, when they try to bring them back together. Because now they're finally, from what I've been reading, is they're finally going to introduce X-Men into the Avengers. The X-Men and the Avengers are going to meet finally. And that's going to be a little weird now that, you know, Wolverine's gone, and that would have been a good time to introduce them a long time ago. And now they're gonna have to try to tie it all together, and it's just gonna be weird to me.
I don't know, man. I think I'm kind of opposite on that. I think it's a perfect time because we are losing characters, right?
Yeah.
We are losing. I believe Thor's about to step out. I think the dude that plays Captain America is about to step out too. I think we lost Tony Stark. I think Tony Stark's gone. What's his name? Robert Downey Jr. I don't think he's doing Tony Stark no more. I'll have to look and see, but from what I read on, I think it was Geek Show months ago.
Yeah.
They were talking about that. So I don't know. I think it's a good time if other characters are dying off. It's a good time to introduce new characters, new storylines. Kind of like what X-Men is doing right now. If you looked at that trailer for what was it, Phoenix?
Dark Phoenix.
Dark Phoenix. There, it looked like there were some characters that we haven't seen before in that universe.
To me, that's, I don't know. To me, that's what destroyed X-Men. I haven't been a fan of the X-Men for like the past 2 or 3 movies, and to me, it's because a lot of when X-Men first came out, it was dope, but a lot of those actors didn't want to come back. So they were forced to start doing prequels instead of sequels and trilogies and so on, because they didn't want to replace those actors. And so, I don't know. I just haven't been a fan of the prequels in X-Men.
Yo, the X-Men meets the Avengers is going to be nuts.
And is this going to... I want to know, as far as this Dark Phoenix, like when does this happen in the timeline of all the X-Men that's taking place? To me, the timeline in X-Men is all jacked up right now.
Yeah.
Because there's been so many like prequels and traveling into the future, and I don't even know what timeline we're on right now.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think they're structuring it to where you don't have to follow it. That you can just pick up anywhere.
Maybe, but we'll see.
We will see. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that maybe we needed to cover on the film. I think it was a dope flick. Acting was good. Comedy relief. It had a good balance with dark versus comic. I feel visually really good. What else? Anything else that we need to cover on it?
Trying to think as well. I thought it was going to be more fresh in my mind since we just left the theater, but
maybe we'll record it in the theater next time.
That would be dope. Did you notice there was like they kept having people walk in there?
The usher.
Yeah, I felt like are they checking to see if people are recording it or what's going on?
I don't know what that was about.
It was like 3 or 4 times the usher came and walked in, checked all the seats,
and then it was the manager.
Yeah.
So the usher walked up and down the row, and then the manager came and walked up and down the row. And they had the loud ass keys on their fucking hip.
Yeah,
that was annoying.
Yeah, I should have complained and got a free movie.
Is that possible?
Why not? Like you ruined my movie experience with your loud ass keys.
With your ching ching.
Yeah, like I think I need a new free movie.
I need a free movie. You make the decision. Yo, I think I need a free movie.
Yeah, a free movie. He ruined my movie experience. See?
Go see Venom.
Yeah, definitely.
Go see it. We're
Just
excited.
Came out yesterday, right?
Yeah. Yep, it did. Yeah.
So yeah, go see Venom.
What's it? Do we have the next? Is it Halloween?
Yes, Halloween coming in 2 more weeks? I think it's like I don't know the exact date. It's October something, but
I think it's the 16th. I think.
Yeah, towards the end of this month, you'll get the Halloween review.
Yeah.
That's what everybody. I think Prince is coming for that one.
And he was saying that last night, but we'll really see, when that time comes, because you know how he is.
Yeah. We'll see. But yeah, I think that's it. Venom was a dope movie. Go watch it. 8 out of 10.
Another happy belated birthday to Paul Hill.
Yeah.
He'll be here for Halloween, hopefully, along with Prince. And
that's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got the 2 bald head.
2
dudes.
bald heads. One short, one tall.
If you follow us on the Flight 89 podcast, you know Prince wasn't around for a minute. Yeah. So this might be a redo of Flight 89. I don't know.
Prince is a little upset about having another bald head guy.
It's all love though.
But yeah.
Be sure to check us out. The Flight89podcast.com is where we're kind of no. We're holding everything on lanevisionma.com.
Yeah, check everything out on Lane Vision MA. You can find not just Flight 89, not just Down in Front podcast, but every project or production that we're doing is all located on lanevisionma.com. The MA stands for Media and Arts, so make sure you check that out. Yeah.
Yep, and a big shout out to Barney Sue for having us again. Shout out to Tyson and the whole staff here. We will be doing some more stuff, and actually tonight we got Conor McGregor versus Khabib. So be sure to follow us on Instagram and all that stuff. We'll be here. Talk about that shit. And
we pretty much got the movies all set for the whole year, but if you feel like there's a movie that you want us to review, maybe it's on the list, maybe it's not, hit us up and maybe we'll review it for you.
Yep, and if you want to be a special guest, hit up KJ. Don't talk to me.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. We appreciate y'all. Down in Front podcast. We out.